Go.
Hi, this is Mikey from Far Side of the Pod coming to you from atop a moving vehicle going 130 miles over the listed speed limit to tell you that this is your one and only warning to cover the ears of your children because we are insanely biased. We have opinions. Most of them are kind of correct, not always, but yeah. And we say bad things like swear words a lot. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to mollywop this mailbox coming up. Peace.
What's up, guys? We're Far Side of the Pod. My name's Jordan. We got Ridge.
Brother, we all know you lying. We don't hear that wind blowing in the background like all the mock Jesus.
We got Caleb.
Hello, friends.
And we got who you just heard, Mikey.
Hospital.
I guess first up on today, we're going to talk about some college football. So we're not going to really talk about many different topics today, but we're going to talk a lot about college football and some more stuff later on. Now, Ridge, how about you take over, brother?
College football is back in our lives for another year. And I tell you what, it's so far so great. As some of you may know, if not, that's fine. We got it all laid out for you right here. So let's go over what happened this past Saturday in college football. 22nd ranked Iowa State beat the 17th ranked Kansas State 24-21. Right, Slater?
Yep.
Good, because I didn't have that score. Looked like it was a hell of a game. Seen some of the highlights. It was a hell of a game. And college football is back, baby. And kicked off in a great way with a great game. After that, you had UNLV barely beating Idaho State 38-31. Now, if you have kept up with UNLV at all, or if not, that's fine. I'll run over something with you real quick. They have a new head coach this year, and that new head coach is Florida's old head coach at one point, Mr. Dan Mullen. And apparently, from what I've heard, that there was some real hype around him being the UNLV head coach, and going into this game that they could hang up, 40 points and leave Idaho State barely standing. But from what I seen of it, it didn't seem that way. It seemed like a very close, tight-kept game. And it surprises me because, that's not something you would expect from a coach with this much hype going into the year, and another school in Idaho State that isn't really well known, and a lot of times whenever you think of them, they are on the lesser side. Somebody like, for example, Long Island. That's about the same playing field that they're on. They're not a well-known team. So to see him lose, or not lose, but barely win to a team like that kind of puts a sour taste towards him. Or in my opinion, it does. I don't know how y'all would feel about it, but, Anyways, after that, we had Kansas playing against Fresno State, and Kansas absolutely wiped the floor with Fresno State, winning 31-7. Have I said college football is back? Because college football is back, and this is one of them great things to see in college football, is a team absolutely beating the snot out of another team occasionally. You need that. Kansas, they're one of them teams that will occasionally look good, and you got to watch out for them, and they can be a threat later on down the road. Who knows? We'll have to see with whoever all they have left to play. All right. Other than that, we also had Western Kentucky smacking Sam Houston across the face, 41-24. Way to go, Western Kentucky.
Yep.
For getting the win against Sam Houston. It's not that big. Neither one of them are super large programs, but hey, That again is how you want to start college football, is starting off with some good smacks across the face and some close games, like the first game we talked about with Iowa State and Kansas State, and like this next game of Stanford losing to Hawaii 20-23. Man, that had to be a heartbreak of a loss, but I have to say I was rooting for Hawaii. Just because Hawaii's just one of them teams that has never fully made sense to me as to why they're not a bigger program. I don't understand how you can't push the idea of you're playing in Hawaii. You should be bringing in some top end recruits, I think, especially in the transfer portal. Maybe they don't have as big as a budget, but again, that's one of them questions I have as how do they not have a big enough budget, since it's freaking Hawaii, a tourist destination where people spend a shit ton of money to go to that state, and you can't have a good football team? I mean, make it make sense. It doesn't. And I hope that at some point Hawaii becomes better, especially with these years to come with the NIL and just being able to figure things out. I'm rooting for them, just as a little off in the distance rooting for them. It's not one of my top teams to root for by no means, but, it's a fun underdog to try to get your hype over. Like for example, Vanderbilt, we all like to root for them because we know that if they can get on a roll, they can get on the roll. But they're never a contender for championships. They're never a super high ranked team or anything like that. If they've ever been a ranked team, it's been years before I was born. So it's fun to root for the little guys occasionally because, it's just fun. Any thoughts on the games?
Nah, it's just the average week 0 games, in my opinion.
Again, it's pretty fun, especially just getting to know that college football is back. It's a great way to, get the blood flowing, get you heart racing, find you a team to root for at random on one of these games, and if they're on the TV, watch them. Give them a good ass chewing because they ain't doing good enough for you, even though they're not your top team. It's a fun little thing to do. But even after that, I do have one question that I'd like to hit y'all with, and that is, should the top 25, like the AP poll, should that come out before week 1 or after week 1 has been completed? And just go off of last year's going into it. What do you think?
Honestly, I don't care. I don't mind that there being a preseason one, but I think that the committee who runs the top 25 needs to learn fucking football because they always get this shit wrong every year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't mind it being before. I mean, I think it would be okay if they did it after. But the committee definitely needs to learn how to football because they obviously don't.
So, to me, if you put it after, you get a good idea of where these teams that you once had in the top 25, how they're playing right now. So, I get having the top 25. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm sorry. But to me, it's something that should come afterwards. So that way you can say, all right, you lost, like the Iowa State was 22 in this game. They just beat the 17th ranked team. Okay, that gives us a good idea going into our AP poll on where they should be at versus the Kansas State should be at. Clearly, they should be on opposite ends. But it's not like that. So that's the reason why I think that it should come afterwards instead of before. But like you had said too, though, it's a good idea to keep the preseason ones. But I think the season poll should only be for the coaches poll, and AP should start afterwards.
Word.
Just my own opinions on it. Any other opinions on them?
Not that I know of. Not mine.
Well, all right. Let's move on into our next little bit of college football to talk about. And as far as I know, that goes into SEC football. Guys, SEC football starts off Thursday. Mizzou will be taking on Central Arkansas. It should be a swipe of a game for Mizzou. Mizzou should have that game in the fucking bag.
But let's hope they get their ass kicked.
By Central,
I'm not saying it's going to. I just don't like Mizzou.
okay, so I guess I'm going to be a sore thumb.
I love their uniforms, but I just don't like Mizzou.
I'm going to be the sore thumb and say, obviously, I think Mizzou should win here
because I think they're going to win.
It's the SEC, and just to have a great start for the SEC, let's have SEC teams win.
Right.
So, and I hope it's a bloodbath. Either way, I hope that whoever wins by a long shot, but like I said, I think that's going to be Mizzou taking the dub hardcore away from Central Arkansas. And yeah, that'd just be fucking great way to start SEC. And then after that Saturday, we move into our two favorite teams getting to finally fucking play. Tennessee plays Syracuse at 12 o'clock p.m. or 8. Y'all play at 12. And Florida plays Long Island at 7 o'clock. And obviously, Florida's got a walk in the park of a game compared to Tennessee. I don't imagine Syracuse being that big of an issue, but you never know because Syracuse is one of those teams that occasionally likes to go on a roll.
New quarterback too.
Yep, yeah, I've got a new quarterback starting for you in the backfield. We'll get to see how that goes. I mean, Florida, we finally get to see a full, hopefully, knock on wood, we get to see a good full season of DJ Lagway this year too. So, I mean, it's going to be some good stuff happening on both sides of the rivalry, I guess is a good way to say it. Be something interesting. Is there any nerves coming from you guys going in to face Syracuse?
And of course, I think that, I'm afraid that Syracuse will be really good, but I think we'll be good enough to get the win out.
Caleb, you got any nerves about it?
Honestly, I think Syracuse is a decent team. We do. Yeah, of course, we have a new quarterback. We'll just have to. There's a lot of hype around him right now. He seems like he's really good. He seems happy to be there. So I mean, I guess it just really comes down to what we've been able to accomplish in the off season when it comes to recruiting and getting these boys ready for a fight.
You're playing a video game right now, aren't you, Caleb?
Yeah.
That's okay. Just making sure, because all I can hear is some thudding in the background. Making sure you're thudding a controller and not something else.
Yeah, that's a controller.
Mikey, I know you ain't got no fear over any of it. I know that you a pretty solid fan that watches from time to time, but it probably don't get to you all that much, does it?
No, not particularly. And it's not because I don't care. It's just because when it comes to sports especially, it's like I'm going to root for who I like, and I hope that they win. But what is going to happen is what is going to happen, and it is my desire that the best team win. Not we pay refs to win kind of deal. I just like it for the sportsmanship is essentially what it is. I like seeing the competition. I like seeing the skill on the field. I'd rather, even if the team I prefer, the Volunteers, even if they lose, I would still rather there be a learning experience for somebody somewhere out there instead of, I don't know, whatever the NFL is doing anymore.
See, I'm glad that you're around because you're the level-headed one. You're not the one that's going to be sitting there yelling at the TV, thinking that the players are going to hear you whenever they're fucking up like we do. So it's good that we have at least one level-head around here.
For all of you at home, all like two of you or whatever, I was in band once. I was in high school band. No, nothing happened in band camp. It was during the football season that anything happened. Anybody who played in band will tell you that much. That or the winter wind season, but that's besides the point. I have attended many high school football games, and I did so during my band career. And let me tell you, there is nothing that made me more uncomfortable than a bunch of parents screaming at their children on the field. Nothing made me more uncomfortable and more sympathetic to the very jocks who walked around campus. God, listen at me. Walked around the halls like they were somebody than to like hear their dad screaming at the top of his lungs, redlining all of his organs, blood pressure, all in the face. Brother, put maraschino cherries to shame looking ass. I felt so bad, and I was like, man, I'm almost glad I don't got parents to come to this. This is embarrassing. So no, I can't stand to stand up and, start shouting at the screen like they can hear me because I know they can't. Will I be outraged when I think something stupid happens? Yes. Will I be disappointed when something tragic happens? Yes. Will I be excited when something amazing happens? Yes. Am I going to talk to my TV screen like they can hear me? No. I'm not that delusional yet.
Oh boy.
Though the time is rapidly approaching.
Again, we have one level-headed for right now, and that's something, all right, because I can go ahead and tell you I'm definitely sitting there yelling at a TV screen, yelling at the coach saying that he made a wrong play. What the fuck was that? Ref, you didn't catch that. What was that, ref? And of course, no, they can't hear me, but everyone else in the house is annoyed by it because they all have to hear me. So college football's back. Just fair warning to all of y'all out there that can't tell. College football's back. There's going to be some drunks out here yelling at these TV screens. Yep. You can bet I'm going to be one of them.
I got 9. Get the ball.
Now, I had to point these two games out as well because they are big games that are going to be going on. We got the Texas Longhorns facing off against Ohio State. That's number one and number 3 team, and then you got LSU. I think they're 5 or 6, one of the two, versus Clemson, and I think Clemson's number 4. But those two are two of the bigger, well-known games that will be going on, and if those interest you any, there you go. Don't have the times, couldn't care less about them. Only games that we care about as much around here is Tennessee and Florida. Other than that, the only other thing that you need to know is horns down around here, baby. Any other thoughts on the two big games later, or Caleb or Mikey?
Nope.
I was gonna say I hope Florida at least goes out and shows out. a little bit this year.
We
It'd be
can
nice
only
to have
hope.
a good fight. It could be nice to have a good fight when y'all come freeze your asses off up at our stadium.
We're not coming up this year.
Next year you
it's-
will be, and it'll be well.
Well,
We're
next
also
year.
playing you. We're also playing you guys late in the year.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I like about it this year is that we are facing Tennessee. Like it's like the third to last game, I think, or second to last game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we get each other at our best.
Or our worst, depending on what's going on this year.
Yeah, knock on wood though. Hopefully everyone's healthy and
Yep, knocking
hopefully
on
we're
wood.
able to perform very well against each other. So looking forward to that. All right. Other than that, the only other thing for as far as SEC plus college football news is that we have learned that next year, 2026, the SEC will be playing non-conference games. So that means more likely for a lot of teams, less of these little tiny games like how Florida has Long Island this year. We probably won't have them next year.
Right.
Even though I think we're playing a bunch of hard teams already from the SEC this year. But hey, we're all level field playing non-conference games for next year. Any thoughts on it?
No, I
Good
think-
thing, bad thing? You like it? You love seeing it? You hate seeing it?
I think. I think it's all right.
There's also because I know Florida has Clemson on the schedule in the future. That could mean that we're not going to be facing off against Clemson
Right.
because we end up having to replace them with like a Texas or a Bama or Oklahoma, someone else. But I mean, more big games, the more money that's going to be made, and the better outcome of who's going to be the best in the SEC, I guess, will come from that. I mean, other than that, even then, though, I'm sure that there'll still be, 4 SEC teams, if not more, in the playoffs anyway, so what's it matter? But I digress. So, any other thoughts?
Nope.
Nope. This is going to be a short video, ain't it?
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, guys. Didn't do my due diligence this week. It was another really busy week for me, so we're running off of only a couple of main topics.
And not a lot of shit happened this past week anyway, so.
So,
Yeah. Other than the fact
Sorry.
that ESPN is now running the show for PLEs at WWE early.
Yeah, we'll get on to that next week.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get there eventually.
I'm just disgusted.
All right, Red. You brought up Carson Wentz earlier.
Yeah, so moving on into a little bit of NFL news for this week too. Carson Wentz has he was a free agent in this year, but has now been signed to I'm a Vikings fan. We definitely needed a pickup as a second string or third string, whatever they're going to put him at. Hopefully, they're putting him at second string for this year because we had Sam Howell, but we traded him off. Thank God for that too, because I don't know whose idea it was to pick up Sam Howell and say that's going to be our backup, but you should have known better than to grab him because he's not been good at all. I'd rather have back Nick Mullins as my backup compared to Sam Howell. But so that's a good pickup. He's been in a lot of places. He's had some time. He knows the system too because he played or was a quarterback for the Rams in 2022 22 or 23, one of the two.
He was also the main quarterback for the Eagles that won the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, but he was just injured.
Yep, he's had that for him. He's been with the Colts. He's been a lot of places. He's also been with the Chiefs. So he's had some time behind some good quarterbacks now, and now he's going to be the veteran behind J.J. McCarthy, and he'll be able to give him some good advice, get pointers, be able to learn from a dude that's actually made it to the Super Bowl. So that's a big plus compared to having Sam Howell as your backup. I cannot stress enough how bad that was. But anyways, I digress. I won't preach on it for forever and a day like I want to. Other than that, the only other big news that had come out this week as far as things that caught my eye was that one Shiloh Sanders was released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So I did hear that he apparently threw a punch during their last preseason game. He threw a punch at one of the Bills players. Then
that's going to get you somewhere.
And within 24 hours, he was released.
Well, I don't disagree with it. And for those also that don't know, he was not picked up in the draft. He came in, or they signed him afterwards. So it's not like he was underneath a big contract or anything with them.
Right. So
he was able to fall into the category of being able to be released. Will he be picked up? Sky's the limit. Who knows? To me, what year was he? Was he the same as his brother? Or did he have another?
I think so. I think he was a senior.
He was a senior?
I think so.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought he had a little bit more time. I think it would have done him some good for some more time if he had it. If not, I don't know what to tell you. He's not as great or as the others. Right. But I mean, he still has a chance to try to fix himself up and come back too. I mean, it's very well possible. It's just he has to get his shit together. And if that is the case that he went off and punched somebody and that's what made him want to release him, I'm sure his dad's going to have a very strict talk with him.
Yep.
And tell him you can't be doing that shit. Or else you're going to be out here flipping burgers for the rest of your life. Or living a normal life. I don't know what else he would do after, or if he didn't end up in the NFL. But those were the two things